everyone. Thank you for listening me today, this afternoon. So today we speak about time is money. So for the first part of the title, I think all of you are okay. Now let's see how together the three steps to save money or time from customer point of view by design. So let me show you the story of Amadeus company, where in fact where we were, where we are, and where we go. So as an API producer, so this is basically when you want to deliver a product interface, it's important to be a producer, and it's part of Amadeus strategy since 25 years ago, 5 years. Historically, we put in place some interfaces between machines in order to decommission the mainframe, and we put in place some EDIFACT messages to exchange message internally. For that, we have to create what we call a homemade API management. Think about it, and 25 years ago. And after that, with a new modern interaction and the webs, we decided to publish some of them in SOAP XML, basically for external APIs. Step by step, nowadays we are more in REST-JSON. It is the new trend, new kind of API, where in fact it's important also from our point of view to industrialize the design. And we'll see the concept of design first, domain-driven design. But behind that, not only the methodology to industrialize, it's also important to have some tools and an ecosystem of tools to help the designer in order to design quickly. And this is what we put in place with that kind of tool like a stoplight, and also after that to publish the result, which is the API contract, on a platform like IPG, or more recently, we are studying how to use Microsoft APIM, because we recently signed an agreement with Microsoft to be a partner in the scope of our infrastructure. And also perhaps about the future, what will be the concept of async API. So we consider the API contract is really the cornerstone of the deliverables. This is the deliverables that will be, of course, be provided by the designer. So for that, we can put in place, we put in place the concept of design and governance. So producing some cookbook like how to design and document. After that, this API contract will be published on the developer portal. And this API contract will be basically a way to configure the API gateway in order to target on the platform the appropriate backends that could be located anywhere in the world. Of course, the security part is important of the gateway. But besides, the API contract is used to produce how to code, how to deliver, to have some kind of interactive documentation inside the developer portal. And of course, thanks to the gateway, to have visibility about some analytics to monitor the traffic, and potentially here we can imagine how to monetize our product. And at the end, of course, it's nice to deliver some cookbook, how to consume or how to test. So the API contract is really the deliverables that all of you in APIs nowadays are delivering. So if you remember, for those that you have the link, you can scan it if you want. It's a video that I did during API Days interface, was a 7-step to select the right standard during the design for your API. So basically, when you design API, you have to produce, let's say, a cartography of your resource, which you design in REST-JSON, and potentially a library of models in order to reuse some part of your design. And of course, you can have an API stylebook to help you to design and help the designer. But what do you have between this API requirement and the API contract in order to help you? And this is really the scope of the presentation today. Okay, we'll focus on this part about really the design before design. So it is a challenge inside Amadeus since 25 years ago now to build elegant, future-proof API in a minimum of time. And here, and if you see in my previous presentation, I take a lot of examples about an API that you recently created, which is a safe travel API. So that should be elegant. When I say elegant, it's easy to use, even if it's complex. And you know the complexity of the travel nowadays with the pandemic is not so easy. Future-proof is because, in fact, if you want to change something, you have to stay stable and to not break everything. And nowadays, of course, you have to do that in a minimum of time. So let's see in detail what I will suggest you to see today. So my name is Patrick Brosse. I'm leading the API design and data modeling inside Amadeus. And Amadeus is a large company where we have an R&D with more than 5,000 people in the R&D department. And we try to industrialize the API design. So here today we'll see how we can optimize the cost and time from customer point of view, following two kinds of development cycle, waterfall or agile, using two different kinds of approach, code first and design first. So let's start with some definitions. We have to define together several concepts, and of course we have to measure the result of the strategy that has been used during the design. So we can speak about code first. So you can imagine with the name, you start to code and then you ask people to use your API. But in between, there is some alternatives. So perhaps the direct way is to be perhaps more complex or using a highway to be more efficient, using perhaps the concept of design first and domain-driven design methodology, and also some tools like Mockup Server. So let's start together to compare those new design strategy in order to estimate what could be better, the best for you or for us in terms of timing, satisfaction, and cost. So let's start with the concept of cost first. So here, the idea of cost first is to start from the software, and when you finish the software, you deliver the API contract. Okay? So basically, you can imagine that you have two timelines. Usually it's like this. You have an API producer timeline and the API consumer timeline. So, but of course, basically, when you have a business requirement or a new idea, you have different kind of actors, like the product manager, an analyst, and developer. So in code first, of course, the developer will capture some information, and the transmission of the knowledge is done between people, and you start to code, and from the code, you produce the API contract with the Swagger generator. So basically here, you code, you generate the contract, and then the contract is reused by the consumer, and now the customer can himself produce his code from the deliverables, which is the API contract, and after that, you have to determine if you accept the API requirement. And this is basically one of the challenge. You're happy at server level because it's quicker, it's quick, you're aligned with your software, but potentially you have a lot of people speaking about developer experience or user experience. When you are a consumer, when it is a machine-readable API contract, perhaps it's not so easy to understand. So this is the first idea of the code first. What about design first? Design first is to say, of course, to design before to code. And this is the strategy. So you keep the same timeline between producer and developers. And here, the idea is to continue to consider the API contract to become the generator or the library for your software. So you still have people working in a preliminary phase to define the requirement. And at this time, you produce the API contract by design. And this time, it's more human-readable API contract. And then, on both sides, you can imagine that people can work in parallel. And on one side, developers and QA on producer side will create the database, create the code and the data, test it. And in a similar manner, the consumer can start to work from the API contract by generic code and so on, and to try and to test the API. So here, you can estimate that you can gain some time because, in fact, people will work in parallel. Okay, so we see the two concepts, so about design first and code first, but what about the other topics that I propose you to see, like domain-driven design? So here the idea is, okay, why all those people interacting in the same project are not speaking the same language? And this is basically when you speak about developer experience, it's clearly one of the problematic. So basically, okay, we start from the business requirement, where you describe the use case, you have, let's say, the business terminology, you identify some data to exchange, and the functionality. The books of 500 pages about domain-driven design is here to help you to remove this problematic of language and help you to bundle some context, to identify some entity and some services. And the idea, if you follow some pattern of design, you can basically transform the domain-driven design analysis directly in the API via the URI resource and some CRUD operation for create, read, update, delete HTTP methods. And at the end, potentially, you can produce what we call an API contract. Here, you can imagine that you are in design phase, so it could be a prototype, a version 0.1. I propose you also to see, remember in the introduction, the concept of mock server. So what is a mock server? And it's quite new, and you will see some people speaking about that nowadays in that kind of API event. So it's basically to try and to get some experience with the consumer. So basically, you continue to design first. So here the idea is to propose an alpha version of your API, and then potentially to use it and to expose it to be used directly from the portal and where the consumer can discover the API. So you let people, your consumer, to discover your API, and you build some scenario with a mock-up server, then where you can try without any code inside the server. Potentially, of course, the gateway will be used to connect to the mock-up server the time to discover. In parallel, you can use the generator of the code to start your server, and then you can have people to work in a normal manner to produce the server. And then, of course, the consumer can connect after the prototype, connect and integrate directly the API. So here we see the basic foundation about what I proposed, and let's see how to use that kind of things in two different kind of development cycle. The first one is to consider that, okay, the waterfall, the traditional way to work, something that we learn at school, let's say the V cycle, when you provide a specification, you do the development and you finalize by the test. And here, basically, at the end of all this V cycle, you deliver the API contract. So let's see how to use that during the code first. So here, of course, you have a certain period of time to produce all your materials, and you deliver your API, the first version of your API contract after a period of time. And here, when you deliver that to your consumer, you start to get some feedbacks because you are not very aligned with the requirement. So basically, you start a second phase where you adapt, you adjust your code, and then now you have a second version of your API contract arriving where people are, of course, more happy with the original requirement, and you can continue like this with some bug fix and so on. So this is the idea of the code first. What you can do in design first to use the same approach, what is the major difference is basically potentially in design first you will spend more time at the beginning of the project for the design part. Okay, the green one is longer, then you produce the API contract, and this time the API contract is used by the developer to code and to start to deliver. And here you deliver the version 1.0 of your API. And still, even you spend a lot of time in the analysis of the requirement, perhaps your customer is not still very happy at the first version, and you have to deliver another version after that. When I say not happy, is when you are not backward compatible. You see between 1.0 and 2.0, you break things. So basically, your customer needs to restart the code analysis and to change the software. And the impact is very huge for him. So this is the approach of the waterfall. Now, let's see how this can be proposed in the new methodology. All of you know the new concept like Scrum and Agile, which is for sure more complex, where in fact you divide the approach of the design. So you still have those blocks of requirement definition, development and delivery, and in the middle you can introduce some test definition. And basically, all those activities will be splitted in sprint. Okay, so you divide the sprint delivery, and each activity will be grouped depending on the need. So, of course, at the first sprint is the first, during 1 month, for example, you deliver the specification and the test associated to that. The development can imagine some feedback, and then potentially here you can to deliver, after the beginning of the sprint 2, you can deliver a first version in design first to your customer, where you have the first version of your API contract. And step by step, you can start your development. Then you can capture some new requirements that you can integrate. So basically here, you parallelize not only the consumer and the developer, but you parallelize also the activity in your teams, which is, of course, more complex, but step by step, you deliver. So let's see the timeline. So here, the API contract can be delivered at the beginning by people producing, analyzing the requirement and producing the test scenario. And here, the API contract can be delivered, as I proposed you just before, in prototype. Of course, it's a prototype. Okay, we have to agree with the customer. All parties agree it's a prototype. But at least you can give him the opportunity to give some feedbacks. And then those feedback will be more or less integrated step by step in your prototype. And of course, you deliver a version 1.0. But here, at this level, you can consider that you have a good start of the satisfaction of the customer. Why? Because in fact, you are able to deliver something capturing some user experience at his level. And step by step, you can deliver, of course, perhaps a new major version. But again, it should be agreed with the customer, and the customer is aware that potentially there is a change which is major and have to be done. So, what is new here in that kind of approach is potentially to consider that you will introduce what I suggested just before, the concept of domain-driven design at the beginning, where you start to have people speaking the same language, and also the concept of mock-up server, where you let the user to try and to give you some feedbacks. And this is basically, of course, quite heavy in the process, but it could be interesting in order to save time and money from consumer point of view. So in terms of, this is basically now the conclusion of the approach. So here I propose you to see, of course I give you some disclaimer about depending on the size of your project, the maturity of agile process, because you can imagine who have people working in parallel in that manner, need a very well-organized, good organization at project level. And in terms of, to measure, you will see here the idea is I put dissatisfaction, because in fact I would like to minimize things. So we need a minimum of time, minimum of dissatisfaction, and minimum of cost. So basically in waterfall and code first, you will be basically, okay, you use it as a reference like this. So what we see just before is to consider that when you design first in waterfall, the only gain potentially could be the time, because in fact you are closer to the requirement, you spend more time during the design period, so potentially you gain a lot of time in terms of deliverable of your API contract. What is interesting is the second part, is when you are in agile, so code first, and this is a fact, when you start to code first and in agile, the time is growing. You take more time to deliver. After that, in terms of satisfaction, of course, you have more satisfaction. It's not yet optimized, and the cost is more or less the same. What is very interesting is when you start to have the full package, design first, and agile with that kind of methodology, where, of course, you see delivering a prototype is very nice for the consumer. Having the capability to test in advance with some mock-up servers is also interesting. And after that, the server and the consumer optimize the price. So to conclude, some key takeaways, or the secret of the design first API is really to say, okay, design first is really when you focus, saying, okay, it's for external APIs, API as a product. When you want to have a very nice interaction with your teams, and this is the state of the art. The most important is always to capture the requirement and to adjust, to discover the customer requirement, because it's very difficult even for someone who would like to have something to give you the perfect solution, a perfect proposal at the beginning, and you have to work in, let's say, several steps. The mock-up server is really that to deliver a prototype and to consider that the prototype will be the baseline of those discover customer requirement, and helping you to do some parallelization and can be an accelerator for agile. Domain-driven design is for sure here to speak the same language. When you remove all the ambiguity about the terminology, the definition, it's something that you can do at the beginning, and it's quite interesting to have a stability of your design because you don't change things, and also to keep your knowledge in your team, because people are moving, you change in teams, you change company, and what is important is also to keep the knowledge, original knowledge of your of your design. That's it for me. I'm thinking you are quite just in time, so I will be very happy to have some questions. I hope you like it. No questions, so it's crystal clear. Yeah. Okay, so the question is basically in a so large company, you have probably several kind of organization working in silo in different manner, and here it's a new approach, and also you need to convince all the teams to work in that kind of direction. So concerning Agile, it's true that it was part of the strategy of the CTO. They discuss with our HR, human resources, so it's going very far to say, okay, all the company will be reorganized in agile manner. So it was, let's say, for sure, one of the vision to put in place, and it's not only for APIs, huh? It's applicable for anything, okay? But of course for APIs. So the concept of to work in agile, it should be a strong recommendation and to be the vision of your company first. After that, from API point of view, but in fact, as it has been just explained this morning, the move is not black to white. You have to progress via trainings, via, let's say, experience, good experience. You have to publish a newspaper to give, let's say, the state of the art, the benefits, and so on, inside your company to motivate the others one by one to go in that direction. But yes, it's not like this. Huh? It's quite heavy, but it's quite potentially good. Yes, but also what is important is perhaps one day to have our customer in agile manner, because of course it's if you want to win on two parties, it's that. Yes, another question. Yeah, but in fact, it's super easy because in fact the new API concept is now more and more data-centric. So in fact, what is important is to focus nowadays on the data. And if you follow some REST principle, so you have the concept of resources. And after that, when you look about for example, a methodology like the domain-driven design, you have the concept of entity. And there is some, in Microsoft, for example, if you look about their API design guidelines, or even in Google, it's written how to be programmation in object-oriented to help you to design APIs in such manner. So to be honest, it should be natural for an API designer if you follow some development guidelines, classical development guidelines in a object-oriented design or programming language. No, it's not automated. It's still human, but at least it's a principle. You have to follow it. Thank you.